Honourable
Mr.
Phil
Speaker,
Goff.
e te iwi o Parekura, e naho e whā, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. E Parekura, haere, haere, haere atu rā. Mr. Speaker, this is our final farewell to a good friend, to a person whose mana, whose passion, whose warmth and whose good humour we will greatly miss in this place. Can I extend my welcome to the whānau and the supporters who have come from all parts of the country, but in particular those who have come from Ikaroa Rāwhiti to farewell Parekura in this our place. And can I thank you, to the people of Hauiti Marae, for the love and the respect with which you farewelled our friend last week. It was a hugely moving occasion, and we thank you for your hospitality and we thank you for your inclusiveness. Parekura's life on the marae was celebrated with tears and laughter and with stories. And I thought that as we shovelled the soil to cover his coffin, we had farewelled our friend with the respect and the honour that he so richly deserved. I first met Parekura when I was Minister of Labour back in the 1980s. And Parekura was in charge of a group called the Group Employment Liaison Scheme. And the first time he came in, he said, "G'day, Chief." And I was momentarily impressed, thinking, my status in life has been recognised. And then I realised that that's what he said to everybody. But I remember him as a person that was larger than life in that job. He was passionate about what he was doing. He was honest, and that gave him his influence. He was a strong advocate for his people, and he was a particularly strong advocate for those that had been dealt a rough hand in life. He not only impressed the Labour ministers, but apparently he also impressed one of the people in this House who was the hardest to impress, a guy called Bill Birch. Bill Birch was known to have called in the Ministry of Education and the Department of Labour people. And for half an hour he grilled the Ministry of Education people. He gave them an incredibly hard time. And then at the end of it he turned to Parekura, said, "All okay, Parekura? Fine, that's okay then." And that was, I think that speaks volumes for how he was regarded and the confidence that ministers had in him. Parekura had a huge commitment to basic Labour principles of fairness and of equity. He hated disadvantage. He hated injustice that was meted out to people. He was 100% loyal to Labour and its leadership. But his networks around the country were amazing. I had the privilege of travelling with him extensively over the 3 years I was Leader of the Opposition, and Kelvin Davis reminded me this morning of a story. We're up in Kaitaia, and Parekura said, "Hey, Chief, I need to get some money out of the money machine." So he hopped out. He was getting his money out, and there was a car driving by. And it slammed on its brakes, went into reverse, the window wound open, and a voice from inside called out, "Uncle Parry!" And that was the sort of thing that actually happened to Parry all over the country. He was respected by Maori royalty and iwi leaders, but he was loved by the grassroots. He worked so hard. Every 28th Maori Battalion reunion he attended. Every matatini he went to. In fact, I found him there one time working in the ticket office. He said, "This is the best way to see everybody that comes in." It was a good trick. We can all learn from that. Every koronehana. The Maori Women's Welfare League, he was always there, and he was granted an honour, strange for a male, of being made a life member. Probably the only life member that the Maori Women's Welfare League has ever had, but that was deserved as well. Pare's health wasn't great, but he persevered. And I remember the story he told me it a couple of times. He said, "Phil, I was told by a doctor 12 years ago that if I didn't lose weight, I only had 6 months to live. Hey, Phil, you know that doctor? He's dead," he said triumphantly. In his final hours, Parekura said to my colleague Shane, "That's it. Now it's time to rest. So rest now, Pare. your work is done. Moi mai e te rangatira, moi mai e Horomia, ma haere, haere, haere atu rā.
Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker,